I remember that when that stuff first came out, it was one of the few times in my life where the reaction from everyone was very similar. Everyone was disgusted. Everyone was outraged. I saw people online crying because of how awful that stuff was. It was definitely a negative reaction. It was a massive rejection towards Mason Greenwood, and deservedly so, because that stuff he was doing is just, oh my. Even thinking about it, that's why I've not talked about it all this time on my channel. It's just awful, awful stuff. Okay, it looks like I'm not too sure, and that's why I'm making this video. And in a minute, we're going to react to what Sam at United People's TV has to say about this. I think he did a great job covering the stories and the statements that have come up so far. But it looks like Mason Greenwood could, not he can or he is, but he could be making his return to Manchester United. Now, I was not meant to make this video today. I literally got home. I am about to work on a few more videos to drop throughout the week. I was working on preparing the live stream for Sunday, as England's going to play Spain in the Women's World Cup final. I was not planning on making this video at all, but I sat down. I was going through YouTube, Twitter, etc., and then I started to see the statements. And as someone who's not talked about this topic at all, I've never even talked about Mason Greenwood on this channel since that incident happened. So I thought for the first time, as he looks like he's about to make a return, let's see what's really going on, because it looks like this time he may actually be serious. That's why I said I'm going to give my own thoughts. I wanted to start this video by just by telling you where my headspace is at the moment. I'll try to do very minimal editing in this video, but yeah, this is where I am. I'm not quite sure what's happening. I'm about to get into it. I'll give my own thoughts, of course, but we're also going to react to Sam, because I think Sam does a phenomenal job in reacting to these things. So without wasting any more time, guys, let's get straight into it.
Manchester United have released an official statement and an official update on the Mason Greenwood situation. What I'm going to do in this video to begin with is read through the full statement from Manchester United and the full article from Adam Crafton in The Athletic, where he states that Manchester United have told...
Again, I don't want to keep stopping this, but this is one of the reasons why we are reacting to this video from Sam. I've not watched the full video yet, but I've watched Sam for a long time now, and I know that this is something he does in his videos. He usually goes back to the source. He usually goes back to where things came from, and he likes to read out exactly what has been said. I could just give out my opinion and say what I think about the situation, but I think that wouldn't be doing it justice. You have to look at things from I wouldn't say outside the box, but you have to look at things in their totality. And that's why I said reacting to Sam, to reacting to someone else's opinion, and also what Sam's doing here, reading from the official statements. I think that's going to help us to have more of a better take, a more opinionated debate than if I was just to sit here and just talk about what I think, which I think would be very fair.
Senior staff that Mason Greenwood will return to the club. I'm going to waste no time. I'm going to get straight into it, and I'm going to...
Yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
From Manchester United here with an update from their side on Mason Greenwood. This is what the statement says. Following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood in February 2023, Manchester United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegations made against him. This has drawn on extensive evidence and context not in the public domain, and we have heard from...
And that's it. I think that is very important, that evidence that is not in the public domain. We of course know about the video recordings. We know about the footage and the video that did not look good at all. It was some disgusting stuff that, for those of us that have, for example, younger siblings, that have older siblings, that have mothers, that have aunties and stuff, it's just awful stuff to be witnessing and to be watching, even just online. It's just awful stuff. So that's the only thing that we had. So this emphasis that they're putting on extensive evidence, I'm not sure if I want them to put out all the evidence that they have. I don't think they can, but to at least give the public a better understanding, because as I said, it's not looking good at all for them to just be dropping Mason back in the team. But again, we'll talk about it later on in the video. I'll just let Sam finish reading this off.
Numerous people with direct involvement or knowledge in the case. Throughout this process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim has been central to the club's inquiries, and we respect her right to lifelong anonymity. We also have responsibilities to Mason as an employee, as a young person who has been with the club since the age of 7, and as a new father and with a partner. The fact-finding phase of our investigation is now complete, and we are in the final stages of making a decision on Mason's future. Contrary to media speculation, that decision has not yet been made and is currently the subject of intensive internal deliberation. Responsibility ultimately rests with the Chief Executive Officer, who of course is Richard Arnold. Once made, the decision will be communicated and explained to the club's internal and external stakeholders. This has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Manchester United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public domain. We ask for patience as we work through the final stages of this carefully considered process. So Manchester United's official full statement there, reiterating on the extensive evidence that isn't in the public domain, not once, but twice in the end of the statement as well. What I'm now going to do is read through what The Athletic are reporting on this article, and then I'll have a discussion about it towards the end. This is mainly a factual video on these official statements, bringing this to you. This is what Adam Crafton has written. Manchester United have told senior staff that Mason Greenwood will return. Manchester United's chief executive, Richard Arnold, told the club's executive leadership in the first week of August that United were planning to bring Mason Greenwood back.
Okay. So, I don't know, jumping into conclusions. So they've said he's coming back. Or is that still a discussion?
As part of that,
This is what I don't understand. So before they were saying how they were still having a discussion, and the public was saying that the discussion had been made, but it hadn't yet. That they're still going to talk to the stakeholders and executive leadership, etc. But here, the Athletic are reporting that Richard Arnold has already made that decision and brought it to the club at the beginning of August. So not too long ago, around 2 weeks ago.
plan for Greenwood's reintegration with the men's first team, Arnold intended to record a video explaining the decision that will be shared with both staff and the general public. The proposed date for that announcement was Friday the 4th of August, which we already know. The plan was for this to come out before the season started, and that got pushed back, hence the situation we're in now. The plan laid out by Arnold that week was that Greenwood would not make any appearances with the club's charitable arm, the Manchester United Foundation, in the short to medium term, even though the club would be bringing him back to the first team setup. So the suggestion here is that Mason Greenwood would come straight back into the squad, to the Manchester United first team. There's no mention of a loan here. It's into the first team setup. However, United did not proceed with the announcement, and 12 days on, they are still to communicate any decision publicly. That's the majority of the new information. Let's go down here. That's still not new information. Sources close to the process spoke to The Athletic on the condition of anonymity. The Athletic has not been told of the precise reason United have delayed the announcement of their decision on Greenwood, but it has been reported widely that the club wished to inform key stakeholders of their decision ahead of going public. And as I said, I've read through the full official statement there from Manchester United. Now,
okay, we will not be reacting to the full video of Sam. This is not what I want to do. I want to give my own opinion of what I think is going on. I just wanted to watch these first 350 to 4 minutes to, I think Sam does a great job, as I said at the beginning of the video, of explaining everything and going through the official statements and etc. We watch a little bit more, but then I want to give my opinion off because I don't want to make this video too long.
Anybody who's watched my video that I did at the weekend on this will know my opinion on this. So I don't need to reiterate. Maybe I'll reiterate certain points of my opinion here. But this is Manchester United effectively confirming that Mason Greenwood is going to come back into the first team setup at Manchester United. that will be officially told to the public sooner rather than later. And given how long this has taken to reach this stage, this has felt like a bit of an inevitability. If Manchester United were going to cut ties with Mason Greenwood, it wouldn't have taken them 6 months to do so. That's something that I've known in the back of my mind for a while. I'm sure it's something that you have known as well. And I suppose it's very hard to keep opinions out of videos like this, because you know exactly where I stand. I did not want Mason Greenwood to kick a ball for Manchester United again. Now, what is being written here on the idea, and this is something that certain people have been arguing against, saying, Sam, you don't know the whole evidence. That's what United are reiterating here, not on one occasion.
Yeah.
There, about evidence that's not in the public domain, but they reiterate it down here as well. Where is it they say that? We understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence. I mean, what else can you show me and tell me that takes away that audio tape? What are you possibly going to tell me?
Okay, and we'll stop it right there. If you want to go and watch the full video from Sam, I will of course leave the link to his channel in the description. Again, I think Sam does a great job, not only in this video but overall. But I explained why we watched this video at the start. Now I'm going to give my take and talk about what I think about the situation. There's a lot of talk, as Sam said, about the extensive evidence. If that evidence is so crucial to the reasoning on why Mason Greenwood, is coming back, please explain to the public. Please, if you're going to make such a decision, something. I remember that when that stuff first came out, it was one of the few times in my life where the reaction from everyone was very similar. Everyone was disgusted. Everyone was outraged. I saw people online crying because of how awful that stuff was. It was definitely a negative reaction. It was a massive rejection towards Mason Greenwood, and deservedly so, because that stuff he was doing is just, oh my, even thinking about it. This is why I've not talked about it all this time on my channel. It's just awful, awful stuff. So please explain that evidence. Please, if you're not going to share that evidence, please do some type of explaining to the public, because it doesn't look good. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want this guy anywhere near Manchester United or the club that I support. When I look at Manchester United, I look at, for example, my favorite player that's playing at the minute, Marcus Rashford. I love Rashford not just because he's such a great football player and had a great season last year, but Rashford is such a role model in and outside of the pitch, and that is not just with Rashford, but with the great of this athlete. You think of Ronaldo, for example. You think of other guys, even in the team at the moment, like great characters, and that's something that the club has to stand for. Or even just outside of football, you look at different athletes like a Kobe Bryant, for example. I'm talking about my favorite athletes of all time, and these are not only amazing players on the pitch, but role models. I don't want to have to watch someone week in and week out, and someone who's done the awful stuff that Mason Greenwood has done. How do you explain the stuff that we saw? How do you explain the bruises, the things that he's saying on that audio tape? How do you explain the videos that I forgot the girl's name that she was making? How do you explain that? In my opinion, I don't want to see Mason Greenwood around. I don't want to see Mason Greenwood anywhere around Manchester United. I don't think the club needs that negativity. I don't think the players need that negativity. And most important of all, I don't think us, the public, the fans, should have to keep up with something like that. Because to be honest, I don't think I could really be watching Manchester United as much as I do now if someone of that character was playing for the club. Because it goes against many of the reasons why I support Manchester United. Such a great club with such a great history, with with great characters in and around. Of course, no club is perfect. No club has perfect people throughout. But to stand next to you and to stand for the stuff that Mason Greenwood has done, I won't. And it's just awful to even just think about. That's why I don't want Greenwood at United at all, or anywhere near and around the club. But yeah, again, I don't want to make this too long. once it is more official, we'll talk about it again. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I was thinking of making a live stream so I could, maybe go on streamer, then bring a few people around so we can have a better discussion. But when it comes to Mason Greenwood, I would rather not have him anywhere in the club. But anyways, guys, I'll see you soon.